Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna, thank you for joining this morning. Srimad Bhagavatam class and attentive japa. Nice to have your association. And we've got a wonderful class today. It's very good information that I'd like to share with you. So we'll make a start. Thank you so much. So today we're talking about questions by King Parikshit to Shukadeva Goswami. So as we learned that Brahmaji instructed Narad Muni, which cemented his faith in Srimad Bhagavatam, and he took leave from his exalted father and commenced travel across the universe to instruct others, because this is what transcendental knowledge is all about, sharing it with others, and it actually cements your own faith and your own knowledge as well. Knowledge increases by sharing. So Maharaj Parikshit also expressed his conviction that hearing and chanting about Krishna is the most auspicious activity for all beings, and he then began to ask a series of questions from Shukadeva Goswami, and these questions were so important that they form the basis of the rest of the Shukadeva Goswami's narrations in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But although these questions were answered by the conversation between Lord Brahma and Narayan. So his first question was regarding how and why the living beings become entangled in matter. So let's do a quick prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Lamyate Girim Yat Kirpa Tamam Vande Shri Guru Deen Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishram Hari Om Tassat Narayana Namskritya Naram Cheva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyat Nashta Presha Abadareshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nistiki. Hare Krishna. So the first question is regarding how and why the living beings become entangled in matter. And Shukadeva Goswami replies, he says, O learned Brahman, you say that in reality we are eternal spirit souls. So this is Maharaj Parikshit asking Shukadeva Goswami, O learned Brahman, you say that in reality we are eternal spirit souls, transcendental to this body and of the spiritual nature as Lord Krishna. So how is it then that we become entangled with the material energy and suffer? So we are spiritual, we are transcendental, so how come we get entangled in material energy, which is inferior to us? And is there a reason for this, or does it happen haphazardly? So Shukadeva Goswami responded that the transcendental spiritual soul identify with the material body because of the influence of the Lord's external energy. Otherwise the spiritual soul would not become entangled in matter. So it seems that the external energy is stronger than us. Lord's external energy, although it's inferior, it is stronger than us. So why does the all good Lord desire that we become materially conditioned? And Shukadeva Goswami explained that Krishna wants all souls to remain in pure consciousness as his loving servants. However, because they have little independence, some of them are not willing to serve Krishna, desiring instead to be his equal. Thus Krishna puts them into a dream-like condition where they can imagine this to be true. The childish souls can cry because they want to be independent enjoyers and controllers like the Supreme Lord. So to pacify them, Krishna kindly puts them in this reflected reality, the material world. So example is given like a child that, if a child wants something, it will cry and cry until the parents give in. So it's like that we want to be independent. So Krishna says, well, here you go, here's your toy, the material world, go and play. These delusions happen until the soul wakes up to the reality that he is the subordinate part and parcel of Krishna. So when the child has enough of playing with his toy, then he wants to come back to his parent. So similarly, then we want to go back to Lord Krishna. So all living beings are originally situated as the Lord's eternal servants. But due to their association with any of the three modes of nature, so the material energy is divided into three modes. According to their choices, they receive different bodies. As long as the living entity thinks in terms of I and mine, he is forced to continue to accept different material bodies. So although we share the Lord's nature, we remain subordinate to him and are constitutionally meant to serve him with love. So it's not a service like a material servant that he's doing for money, and he doesn't really like the his master. This is a different kind of service. As soon as we are situated in a glorious position as Krishna's eternal living servants, we begin to enjoy transcendental happiness. At that point, we are never again influenced by the material energy, nor by time, nor do we fall prey to the misconception of I and mine. So, to clear further doubts, Maharaj Parikshit continued to pose further questions on behalf of others. So although Maharaj Parikshit, he knew the answers to these questions, he was doing this for helping other people, so they will get some benefit. So he asks, if the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the lotus stem sprouted, is possessed of a gigantic body according to his own caliber and measurement, then what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and those of common living entities? So in the creation of the material world, the Supreme Lord undoubtedly assumes a gigantic body, the universal form, and living entities also get bodies, big or small, according to necessity. For example, an elephant gets a gigantic body according to its needs, and so also an ant gets its body according to its needs. Similarly, so our bodies are according to our previous desires, obviously, and whatever desires we have, they, along with other things, that we get a new body according to our needs, according to our desires that we had accumulated. Similarly, if the personality of Godhead assumes a gigantic body to accommodate the universes or the planets of a particular universe, there is no difference in the principle of assuming or accepting a particular type of body in terms of necessity. A living being and the Lord cannot be distinguished simply by the difference in the magnitude of the body. So the answer depends on the specific significance of the body of the Lord as distinguished from body of the common living being. So having a body according to your requirements is not the factor that determines the difference between us and the Lord. He has a body, or he manifests the body. We have a body, but that's not the factor that divides us. It's what he does with his body, and what we do with our body is the difference. So to answer Maharaj Parikshit's question about the difference between Vishnu's Virat Roop form and the living beings, material bodies, Shukadeva Goswami recounts a conversation between Brahmaji and Lord Narayan at the dawn of creation. So Brahmaji asked Lord Narayan. So this is a separate conversation now. So that was between Shukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit. Now we're just referring to a conversation between Brahmaji and Narayan. So Brahmaji asked Lord Narayan that you are always transcendental, yet you accept material form of the material universe. And Lord Narayan replied that only he and his Vaikuntha associates exist before the creation, of the material universe. They all exist as the cosmos, as well as the ordered universe, and only they remain after its destruction. The Vaikuntha associates are part of Lord Narayan. He expands himself into many to enjoy pastimes. The many are obviously us, the jivas, and as the dominator, he receives service from his predominated forms, thereby enjoying loving exchanges with them. That is also again us. So Lord Narayana explained that the material universes are an expansion of his energies, which are nothing but him. So everything is, this material spiritual is so Lord Narayan. Therefore he is what we call material cosmos. Then Lord Narayan had indicated a group of 4 of his attendants who stood nearby, 1 beautiful lady and 3 handsome youths, each identical with the Lord. The material world is a product of these 4 energies, although they remain invisible. So Lord Narayan explained to Lord Brahmaji that the material world is made of these 4 entities. The lady is Prakriti, also known as Devi Maya or Durga, the Lord's creative energy and illusory energy. And then the first youth is Purusha, the Lord's incarnation for material creation. He first manifests himself as Mahavishnu, from whom all the universes emanate, and then he expands himself to enter each of them as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and then further accompanies every living being as Paramatma, or Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, we also know him as. So the next youth, so we got Devi Maya, we got Mahavishnu, and then next youth is Mahat Tattva, the source of the entire cosmic manifestation. Prakriti is dormant until Purusha impregnates her with rebellious souls and time. And Mahatattva manifests when Prakriti and Purusha unite. In it, the 3 modes of nature, goodness, passion and ignorance, become active. And material creation gains momentum. The next youth of the Lord's creative energy is ego. He makes the living beings think they are this material body, an independent enjoyer and controller. So we are in this dream state, thinking that we are this body or this mind, and we are independent from God, and we are the masters, proprietors, controllers, and the supreme enjoyers. That's because we are put into that illusion by the Lord. So we can enjoy without any difficulty, without any fear. So Brahmaji replied to Lord Narayan that he understood now that your universal form, comprised of your energies, which is also known as Virat Rup, is actually spiritual, not material. The conditioned souls, however, perceive it as material because they are deluded by these energies. So that's the case. And then going back to Shukadeva Goswami again, then Shukadeva Goswami referred to Maharaj Parikshit's other questions in reference to Brahmaji, asking Lord Narayan further questions. For example, what is the difference between how Lord's external material energy and his internal spiritual energy are involved in the creation? So the external energy, Devi Maya, influences the conditioned souls to not to see how everything is connected with the Lord. She is like darkness which hides the truth. And the internal spiritual energy, which is actually Lakshmi, by her grace, repentant souls are drawn to the Lord to know him. When they are free from all material desires, she reveals the Lord to them. So Lord has his different energies working for him, some to bring him closer to him, and others to hide him from him. This is according to our condition, our desire, or what state we are in. So, Krishna can work both ways. If we don't want to know him, then he will make that arrangement. If we want to know him, he will make that arrangement. That's all his mercy. He can work with us however we want. And, what more can we ask? That he cooperates with us in every condition. Prakriti is a reflection of Lakshmi, the mirror being the desire of the restless souls to enjoy independently from the Lord. So it's all down to our desires. What do we want? We want Krishna, then we can associate with Lakshmi. Do we not want Krishna, then we associate with Prakriti. It's that simple. So when the living being has such desires, Prakriti covers them, making them forget Lord's supreme position. In the dark material cosmos, they live as independent controllers and enjoyers. Alternatively, when the conditioned souls become materially exhausted and aspire to know the truth, Lakshmi arranges for transcendental knowledge of the Lord to reach him. And how does she do that? Via self-realized pure devotee. As their transcendental knowledge progresses, they realize they belong to the Lord's spiritual energy, which we are trying to do, and all beings are part of the Lord and they derive pleasure by satisfying him. In spiritual consciousness they know this, but in ignorance they forget. So since all beings are part of the Lord, are they equal to the Lord? Asked Brahmaji. So we're back to Brahmaji now. There is very little difference between the Lord and the living beings, but they are not equal to the Lord. So Brahmaji asking that since we are part of God, we are very similar to him, just like gold. A fragment of gold is similar to gold, so are we equal to him? And Lord Narayan says that we're not equal, there is some difference between us. And he explains that just like fire and its heat is intrinsic to fire. So, we know there's a fire when there is heat. You can't have fire and not have heat. But there is more to fire than just heat. The Lord continued. So in his original form as Krishna, now he's telling the qualities. In his original form as Krishna, thus you could say is the actual fire itself, has 64 transcendental qualities. In the form of Narayan, he has 60 qualities. And as living beings he has only 50. And if I remember correctly, as Shiva he has 55. So we are not complete as the Lord. So we have less qualities than the Lord. And just like the hand is one sense the body. So our hands, our legs, our limbs, they all body, but they're not the whole body. As the hand is meant to serve the body, the living beings should similarly serve Krishna. So Lord Brahma had also asked how the Lord relates differently with his external and internal energies. So the Lord replied that he doesn't enjoy the material energy. Therefore he enters the cosmos as a facsimile of himself, or a copy of himself, Purusha, which we know as the expansion. Whilst he, Narayan himself, remains in Vaikuntha. And as Vishnu, the Purusha avatar, he enters the material energy to regulate and facilitate the rebellious souls' desires, and himself remains hidden. The Lord is charmed by the internal spiritual energy. Therefore he shows himself and performs loving pastime with his pure devotees who take shelter of that energy. So he comes to us as an expansion. Brahmaji also inquired that how can one attain life's highest goals without being deluded by pride and false ego? So if we are under illusion, so how can we actually attain the life's highest goals then? So Lord Narayan explained that everyone is looking for happiness, but they wrongly equate it with sensual gratification. That is our illusion. This is due to misconception of the self. The first step of attaining eternal spiritual happiness is to be sincerely inquiring about the nature of the self and life's purpose. So, although we are in illusion, we have the intelligence to inquire that what are we doing here? What is our purpose? Who are we? Who is God? We can ask so many questions. God has given us the intelligence to inquire, the intelligence that the animals and other creatures don't have. We have this intelligence, and we have a free will to change with the margin energy. We can change material to spiritual. So we have this choice. We have these choices that we can make, and we can make these inquiries. So the first step of attaining eternal spiritual happiness is to be sincerely inquiring about the nature of the self and its life's purpose. Who are we, and what are we doing here? Then by the Lord's grace, the inquisitive soul begins to find the answers. He seeks from an authorized spiritual master in the parampara. So spiritual master who has been successfully passed the knowledge from Krishna to Brahma, to Narad, to Vyasadeva, and so on. It's come in a successive parampara. Then Brahmaji want to know that a spiritual master may be in parampara, but what if he misunderstands and misrepresents the teachings? So how does one know if a teacher has properly understood the truth? So it's like Chinese whispers. So the information is passed down from one person to another person. So in Chinese whispers, the information starts at one end and it completely changes at the other end as it's passed on. So Brahmaji wants to know that how do we know that the information hasn't been misunderstood or changed, even though it's come in a successive motion. So how do we know that it hasn't changed? So he was explained that when the spiritual master is authorized, he should be able to clear all your confusions. So Lord Narayan explains that how to recognize a true spiritual master. So if you have doubts that this spiritual master, he might not really know the truth, he may have misunderstood what he was told, what he learnt. So how do you recognize that the spiritual master is true? So when the spiritual master is authorized, he should be able to clear all your confusions. So he should have that transcendental knowledge. He doesn't speculate, but support his answers on both direct and indirect teachings with the scriptural evidence. So this is how you recognize. So these direct teachings are those that instruct the living being to awaken his loving relationship with Krishna through bhakti yoga. So if the spiritual master is telling you something else, then it's most likely that he has misunderstood. So beginning with hearing and discussing about Krishna. So this is the first thing, how to awaken your loving relation with Lord Krishna. We start with hearing and discussing about Krishna, as well as meditating on the teachings and pastimes of the Lord, his incarnations and his eternal associates. Because Krishna is absolute, he's everything. He's all his incarnation, all his pastimes, they're all Krishna. And then the indirect or secondary teachings relate to how society should be organized to optimally facilitate the practice of sadhana, bhakti, and one ashrama, dharma. So that is the way. So not just your own personal meditation or your bhakti, but how the society should be engaged so they can push this transcendental knowledge forward and understand it in a collective way. So in succession, O king, so Shukadeva Goswami is saying to Maharaj Parikshit, in succession, O king, the great sage Narad instructed Srimad Bhagavatam onto the unlimited powerful Vyasadeva. So now Shukadeva Goswami is explaining how then when Narad had picked up the information from Brahmaji, of this information that was given by Lord Narayan, then Narad had the information or transcendental knowledge, he passed it on to unlimited powerful Vyasadeva, which father, obviously his father he is talking about, Shukadeva Goswami, who meditated in devotional service upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, on the bank of the river Saraswati. So he's mentioned Vyasadeva because Vyasadeva obviously wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he passed his knowledge on to his son Shukadeva Goswami as well. So this is what we have today. Thank you all so much, and hope it made some kind of sense to you all. And thank you all for joining. Prem Prakash Prabhu, Rukmani Mataji. Oh, we have Chakadari Prabhu today. Hare Krishna. Partha Prabhu, Praveen Mataji, Sarvesha Mataji, and Sushil Prabhu. Thank you for joining, and would love your views and your realizations on this. And look to hear from Chakadari Prabhu. Are you there? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Jai. Prabhu, any comments on this? Any realizations?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for, I just happened to go on annual leave. Usually Fridays are such a busy days for me. I'm on the hospital by now. But I just happened to. So first of all, many thanks for doing this for so many months now. And I'm sorry I couldn't join all these weeks because Friday is just a day where I can't make it. It's annual leave. So, Nobu, I was just reflecting on how you were answering a question about how do you know a guru is bona fide, and such a good realization that you're right. Guru means someone who needs to clear all doubts. And I think one of the I was reading somewhere. I think Sudha Prabhu was saying that Guru is one who cuts as well, who cuts the chase, as it were. And we got a Prabhupada's disciple living in Hereford. They moved from Manor to Herefordshire recently, and we were having a reading group at their place. And he was saying how, Prabhupada was so used to cut the chase. He wasn't a guru who would talk or behave in a way that the disciples would like to be pleased. Like so many of other gurus or so spiritual masters, they want more followers. So they would talk in a way to please their disciples, especially if they are, celebrities or whatever. But Prabhupada never used to do that. And I was just reflecting how you said how guru means to cut doubts, and which means it can be quite heavy at times and chastisement, and it's a part of being a guru and being enlightened guru. So just thought I want to share those thoughts, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Absolutely right. Yeah. Actually, there's a pastime of Advaita Acharya with Lord Garanga, that he was chastised by Lord Chaitanya one time. Lord Chaitanya went after him with a stick, and he felt that now I am successful, that I have been chastised by my, I thought him as his spiritual master, and whereas the Lord Chaitanya thought him as his equal as well. And he was, chastising from your senior is a mercy given by your seniors. It's very good.
Thank you.
Okay, Rukmini Mataji. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you there? Rukmini Mataji.
Oh,
Hare
okay. Haribol Prabhuji, very, very lovely the lecture of, and Srila Prabhupada is the main hero of our bhakti and guidance, and all management of Srila Prabhupada has given us chant Hare Krishna and be happy, and all this thing. And if we need any more knowledge, we can use our scriptures written by Srila Prabhupada, and very easily you are there to instruct us. So we are very luckiest people to have a ready-made things we are hearing. We don't have to struggle for anything.
Absolutely.
Every Friday we come and sit and just listen. Ready-made food like that.
Parikshit Prabhupada, he was a very good cook, and he
Yes.
was made very nice. He has provided us with these translations very nicely, and they are food for our soul. Absolutely.
Yesterday we had a discussion in our Thursday meeting, Sangha. So there was a topic about the Guru. So I just remembered the one shlok of Sant Kabir.
Ji.
And it is a shlok that's Guru Govind dono khade kisko lagu paए बलिहारी गुरुदेव की जिन्हें गोविंद दियो दिखाए.
Yeah.
It's similar, no? Prabhupada ने हमको सब दिखा दिया है. अभी हमें just we have to do very, very easily chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And if we need to read anything, Prabhupada's books are always always ready for us. So we are very lucky people.
Yeah. Absolutely, Mataji. Absolutely correct.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
And as you know, when we go to the temple, we always pay obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, and then we move on to the deities. And without Guru, it's mercy. Although the mercy comes from Krishna, but he always gives Krishna mercy through his pure devotees. He makes him the instrument for for us. And so Srila Prabhupada is the instrument, the worshipable instrument for us that Lord Krishna sent him to give us knowledge. And we must also be getting exhausted, as is mentioned here, that when you start getting exhausted of this material world, of this toy that we were provided with and put into illusion to enjoy, when we get exhausted, then Krishna makes arrangements for us to come back, and we pray that we can be successful. Thank you, Mataji.
Hari Bol.
So, Shil Prabhu, you like to make some comments, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You okay?
Jai Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you want to say anything?
Yeah. I remember. Yeah. I was going to say. I remember reading the book Science of Self-Realization, and I'm sure it says that a guru is somebody that teaches you how to love God and how to know Him.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the guru should take you closer to God, and if he's telling you something else, then then you know that something is wrong, because there are all sorts of gurus and giving all sorts of knowledge. And so it's mentioned here in Srimad Bhagavatam that how to recognize the guru. Yeah, he should be showing you how to love Lord Krishna from the scriptures, not his own concoctions. He should be able to demonstrate that this is, give you example from the scriptures that, if you ask him, if you have confusion, clear confusion, but he can also refer you to the scriptures where it's mentioned that this is how it is, not his own personal opinion. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Partha Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. I mean, such a lovely class, Prabhu. So nice.
Wonderful information, yeah.
Wonderful information, yeah. I mean, like Guru disciplining succession, that is the main thing. And as Mataji was saying, that this is all like ready-made food for us. So that's very nice point, Mataji. That's all, Prabhu. That's it.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Okay. Sureshi Mataji?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Well, my realization is we are all born in this material world, and we all commit some sinful activities, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly.
Sure.
And Arjuna asked the question to Krishna that we don't want to commit sinful activities, why we do it? So Krishna said, it's the lust that makes you, and so you have to curb your lust. And my realization is before we leave our body, we should do Parikshit or atonement, because we could commit so many unknowingly, sinful activities. And a good example is given by King Parikshit. I mean, he's given example that when he knew he had to die in 7 days by snake bite, he wanted to Parikshit, because he thought he would commit the sinful activity, but he didn't do it, it was unknowingly. So still he wanted to do Parikshit or atonement. And then he said what he's gonna do. So he was looking for spiritual master who could deliver him from his sinful activities. Krishna, as a super soul, knows everyone's desire, and by his Krishna's mercy, he had mercy on Raja Parikshit, so he sent Sukdev Goswami. Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, Anachintanto ma ena jana parupaste tesham nitabhiktanam yokshamam vahamahem. But those who always worship me, because Raja Parikshit always used to worship Krishna, worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form. To them, I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have. So he knew he saved once Raja Parikshit from Ashwatthama from his Brahmastra. So Radha Parikshit was his devotee. So he sent Sukadeva Goswami. And then Raja Parikshit, he asked Sukadeva Goswami about the science of Krishna, like his activities, his creation, maintenance, relation, living entities, and Krishna's energies and Krishna's activities. So he's giving an example. So if you have to leave your body, you have to have a spiritual master, and you want to know about Krishna, everything, not only about Krishna himself, his activities and energies, everything. And our best prashchit before we leave our body, to everybody's best prashchit is to read Srimad Bhagavatam, because Krishna is there. So Raja Parikshit did it, and he set an example for us. And Sri Bhagavatam is the sound incarnation of Krishna. And then chant his holy name, because Krishna's name and himself are not different. So Dev Goswami told Parikshit in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kaler Dosh Nidhi Rajan Asti Ek Mahan Gunan, Gnad Eva Krishna Se Mukta Sangha Param Brije. In Kali Yuga has many faults. Everything you do in Kali Yuga is fault. But there is one good quality, and that quality is by chanting Hari Nam, and one get delivered. One can deliver that people used to get delivered in different yugas. So you have to, we don't want to commit a sinful activity, but because it's the influence of Kali Yuga, we're doing all these things. So we have to do the prashchit. And prashchit, the best prashchit is to read Bhagavatam. And it's recommended by Prabhupada. The Prabhupada worked so hard, Vashri Bhagavatam, because he knew it's going to deliver people from all sinful activities what we're doing, and it will take us to Krishna. And if we do prashchit, then we won't suffer in your next life. Otherwise, if you don't do prashchit, that there are these the sinful activities you will carry on in your next life, and you then keep on going. So we have to do atonement of prashchit. And Maharaj Parikshit set a very, very good example to show us what to do in our life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Absolutely right. Prashchit is atonement, very important, and you find that so many pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam where the kings they used to retire into the forest, and they would do these prashchits and atonements and swear penance, and it's all part of purification. But we're not able to do that in the Kali Yuga. Our purification comes from reading Srimad Bhagavatam, because Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. He's in the sound form, could say in the written form. This is Krishna himself, and associating with him every day is the best way to be purified. Thank you so much, Mataji. Parveen Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, that was pranam to everyone. I don't know what to say. Immense gratitude Prabhuji. So अभी माताजी ने बोला गुरु गोविंद दोनों खड़े. अभी नारायण प्रभु जी, our Shiksha Guru, and then Narayan. We are learning about Narayan. So we are very, very fortunate, Prabhuji. So yeah, the main thing is what is like how to attain the main goal, is to reestablish our relationship with the Lord, which we have forgotten. And everybody said many points, but I'll just say, I think I heard in one of the Katha, Srila Prabhupada ji said that don't lose precious moments of human life. We have to do three things, japa, mahamantra, maximum, whatever we can do. And we have to find opportunities how to serve God day and night. And also to stay happy. That is the biggest sort of bhakti, because if we are happy, And that's how we can do pracha, which is very nice to see you and Mataji, and it gives you so much encouragement. Yes, the devotees are happy. So, and that's what bhakti do, gives you so much happiness rather than finding happiness through sense gratification. Yeah, I'm just lost for words, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Yeah, but thank you so much. So we are very, very fortunate, Parikshit Maharaj, he's shown us the way, and you are kindly giving us the time and your association.
Thank you,
Thank
Mataji.
you so much. Thank you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, to show us the path.
Yeah, I'm definitely learning from you all, Mataji. I have so much to learn, and I'm happy to have your association so I can learn. We learn together in a group, because on our own we don't know whether we are learning properly or not. But together we can encourage and guide each other. So thank you so much. And
But is it okay to feel fortunate, Prabhuji? Because I feel very fortunate because I'm learning so much from like all devotees, there's so much we are learning. So is it okay to have that feeling that like we are lucky we get this association?
Absolutely, that's how we should have the attitude for gratitude, Mataji.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That is the key. The attitude should definitely be there. And I was just thinking that okay, now we're doing bhakti in this life. We're trying to attend Krishna, and say for some reason or other, I'm just talking about myself. This thought was coming to my head this morning, that we're doing bhakti and we spend so many years doing bhakti, but we don't. I don't quite make it. Okay, and we see there's so many sorrows in life, and so you got the three miseries attacking us all the time, and we want to go back. To an extent we want to go back, so we're doing our bhakti, but for some reason we don't make it. But it says that a devotee, even if he doesn't make it back, he will get birth in either a devotee family, or it could be in a rich family. So where you don't have to worry about money, concentrate on bhakti. But isn't that so dangerous? I mean, taking birth in a good family, in a rich family. So it makes me fearful that I really got to make it back, because okay, I might get birth in a good rich family, and then I might abuse that position, and then I'll be back down again at the bottom of the class. Then I'm going to work my way back. This can go on forever, and it has been going. This is the reason we're still here. This has been going like this, that we probably have done bhakti in the past and reached a higher position, and then we abused that position because we had the privilege, we had the money, we used the money in the wrong way. Because money, you find, if you have a lot of money, money is no good if you're not having sense gratification, unless you are giving a lot of charity. If you have a lot of money, you're going to do sense gratification, because end of the day, that's what it seems to be good for. It's very useful to the people who are going to abuse their bodies and abuse other people. It's used for that purpose. So do we want, we taken birth in a very rich family and then destroy our bhakti for next time, then we get a really bad birth, and it just goes on and on. We really want to do right here, right now, in this birth, and get out. And this is what I pray for all of us. Okay, Prem Prakash Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danda Pranam.
Jai Prabhu.
Yeah.
Namaskar.
So, yeah, I was just thinking, Danda Pranam Prabhuji, I was just thinking that I'm not actually qualified enough to actually speak on the topics which are there. I mean, it's because I'm not able to understand it completely. I'm still struggling to do so, because it's really not easy to actually grasp the crux of it. But few things which I understand is that uh, when Jiva actually desired to lord over material universe, I was just thinking how it would be there standing in front of Krishna and just saying that, Krishna, I want to be like you, I want to be equal to you. And understand that how merciful Krishna is to say that, okay, fine, you want to be like this, okay, you go to material and lord it over however you want to be with this like this. But Krishna's benediction is crooked as well, so he will although give you the I mean whatever, but he will still wish well for you. So then he arranges that we realize that this is a place of suffering, eternal suffering, in some what or other, and then take shelter of Krishna. So it is such a difficult position when we have it here. It is such a difficult position is that we won't be able to realize by our own. So we need really guidance and mercy of Guru to actually uh, point us towards Krishna, points our thought toward Krishna. So by the mercy, and we are going around millions and millions of life, and by the mercy of Krishna we get Guru, and by the mercy of Guru we get to know about Krishna, because they carry Guru carry Krishna in their heart, and then they are able to impart bhakti, give us a beej of bhakti, that is a seed of bhakti, and then we need to nourish it, we need to water it, we need to take care of it just as we take care of the saplings for it to grow. And it's not easy to do so. It's so difficult is that the topmost personality in this universe, Lord Brahma, is even not immune to it. So Lord Brahma prays to Lord Krishna that, look, we are in a bad situation, please give us, please protect us. And then Krishna actually gives benediction that you will not be affected by Maya. And when Brahmaji gets this benediction, then he is able to not being inflicted by Maya Devi and the illusion, and then he keeps on expanding the universe without being actually influenced. So it's also important for us to daily pray to our Gurudev, daily pray to Lord Krishna that we've been born in this situation that we are forgetful. We forget what we have done in the last 5 minutes. We'll forget the next one, the 5 minutes. So we keep on praying that whatsoever condition we will be in, whatsoever situation we will be in, we should always we should be always able to, by the mercy of Krishna, we should be always able to remember him. By the mercy of Guru, we should be always able to get his instruction how to remember him, associate with him. And I think that is very, very important we should be doing, because we are in such a position that by our own effort we won't be able to do anything. It's just the mercy of Vaishnavas, Guru and Gauranga that we will be able to progress. So we should take that humble position by praying daily for protection and progress. So otherwise we are going to forget that we are we are not the servants. We are going to forget that we are servants of Krishna, and we'll be always enjoying. And we do it every 5 minutes, every second. We tend to get into this. One last thing is that the power of Naam is so much is that even when it's not chanted in pure state, just a realization of that Naam is there in a Naam Abhas, that can give the mukti. But getting bhakti is not easy. So bhakti will not be easy. So bhakti, by the grace of Guru, when it comes, it has to be protected. It has to be nourished. And as the bhakti grows, then the bhakti kripa grows, and it goes across the universe, pierces the material universe, and then goes directly to the feet of Krishna. So we should be praying that our bhakti kripa grows, protecting, making efforts to actually improve in our bhakti. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you so much, Prabhu. You're absolutely right. We have to, yeah, this is the prayer this is what I'm saying, that is, I'm fearful that I don't just want to have another birth, even if it's in a good family, in a rich family, because, this could go on. This is like,
Prabhu, I want to say something.
Sure, Mataji.
Um, to have a spiritual master is very, very important, because of a spiritual master, he can take us to Krishna. Without having spiritual master, you can't go to Krishna. Like Raja Parikshit had the Sukdev Goswami. So Raja Parikshit, he went to Krishna because of the spiritual master. So very, very important to have a spiritual master, and then he can take us to Krishna.
Absolutely, absolutely. So very, very important. So we are very fortunate, Praveen Mataji, we are very fortunate to have a spiritual master We have Srila Prabhupada and our Diksha Gurus and our Siksha Gurus. We're very fortunate to have information from Sadhu and Sangha and the scriptures and the Guru himself. Thank you all so much. Just quickly answer Partha Prabhu's question. Hare Krishna, Prabhu says, one gets body according to desire, but Bharat Maharaj got body due to affection for deer. Is it just desire or anything else also? Well, Prabhu, our biggest problem is not just desires, it's these desires turn, or we get attached to things. It's attachment. He wasn't necessarily his desire. He just became attached to the deer, and whatever we are attached to at the last moment of our lives, that's what we'll be thinking of, and then our conscious will take us into that kind of body. So, I mean, getting another body normally is based on many factors about how we treated our own body in this life, how we treated other people, what kind of desires we have. You know, there's about 5, 6 different criteria that decides the next body. Not only just our desires, there's many things. So it's quite complex how we get our body in the next life. But if you're strongly attached to something, then that would be a good case for our next body. So this is, and the examples are given like people who keep pets like dogs, and it seems like that they are just switching bodies. The master becomes the dog, and the dog becomes the master. So whoever you're attached to, if you're attached to the wife, then you'll probably come back as a woman. Wife is attached to the husband, she'll come back as a man. Now there's so many examples. And Maharaj Parikshit, in his case, he was attached to the deer, and he was thinking about it at the last moment. Antakale chamameva. Sorry, Bharat Maharaj. He was thinking about the deer at his last moment, and his consciousness carried him into a deer's body. So that is the most dangerous thing. We should be thinking about Krishna at the last moment. This is why we're given this example that whatever you're thinking about in the last moment, whatever you're attached to, that's where your conscience will be carried to. So if we are thinking about Krishna, then good chance that we'll be carried on to the spiritual world to Lord Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Like once during our Bhakti Ruksha, when Prabhuji asked a question, Prabhu, like, okay, you always talk about like spiritual world, you'll go to spiritual world, and there's a lot of bliss. But what is that? How can we define that? What is that bliss which is there in spiritual world? Like, how can we like classify or quantify that? Like, what is that bliss we get when we go to spiritual world? So how can you say that, Prabhuji?
What is the difference between the bliss we get here and in the
So
spiritual?
what he says is like, okay, we always talk about spiritual world. So and it will be more blissful when you go to spiritual world.
Right.
So what he's saying, like he's asking, like, what is that blissful thing? What you say that when you go to spiritual world, what is that blissful state then? You don't have desires, you don't have anything else there. So what is that blissful state? How can you say that it's blissful? So how can we define that, Prabhuji?
Yeah, I mean, as far as desires are concerned, we will always have desires. That is intrinsic to the living entity. We will always have desires. We have desires now, and we will have desires in the spiritual world. There's a lot of competition going on in the spiritual world. Those desires will be to please Krishna. At the moment, those desire to please ourselves, our senses, our mind, our bodies. But then the desires will be towards pleasing Krishna. And that's what we should be practicing now. This is our sadhana, this sadhana bhakti, to practicing pleasing Krishna with our desires. We have the desire to please Him in every way we can, and then that will carry us to the spiritual world. And yeah, the bliss is a side effect. Bliss is also it's not a sign of advancement. Bliss is a side effect of when we please in Krishna. When Krishna is pleased, we get pleased as well. Does that make sense, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Okay, let's see if I don't know. Shall we just do one round today?
Yeah.
I think let's do one round. Okay, I would like to. I think Swesha Mataji has the audio open, so we'll just do one round today. I think time is past now. It's nearly 4 minutes to 9. So, Swesha Mataji would like to do a round if you're ready.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Picharine Nirvisesa Swanyavadi Pashtata Desatarine